Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank the Science, Space, and Technology Committee for holding this important hearing. The question of NOAA independence has a long history, as we've heard today. The agency does a tremendous service, not only to the people of my district in Illinois 17, but the American public. As the first meteorologist in Congress in nearly 50 years, I'd like to take my questions down a meteorological path. First, for the whole panel, we have millions of data observations that are used to produce a weather forecast. We know that more good data that goes into an equation yields a more accurate conclusion. What observing systems should we invest in for the future, and how?
I'll take that. Thank you for the question. I think it's got to be a mix of space-based remotely sense observing systems and in situ observing systems. I think that you can never have enough observations because numerical weather prediction is an initial value problem. But the interesting aspect of this is through the algorithms in the data assimilation system, you can calculate what's known as a forecast sensitivity to observation impact. And it tells you exactly how much impact each observation has in the model, whether it's positive or negative. That's a very convenient metric if you want to do a cost-benefit analysis to then go look at which observing systems should you invest more in or which aren't providing as much impact as you thought they would.
And again, for the whole panel, as probabilistic weather forecasts improve, what are the final steps that are needed to translate these forecasts into actionable information so the public will learn to and find ways to protect their life and property?
The missing thing here, in my opinion, is what I would call the last mile. The National Weather Service needs a mobile, flexible, agile workforce that's really embedded in the emergency management community. And having the mobile support is going to require an investment in moving AWIPs to the cloud. But the trick is, once you have cloud-based AWIPs, the forecasters can have laptops they can embed amongst the emergency management community, and you almost eliminate that concern about how do you translate this forecast information to the end user.
And finally, there's been a big push over recent years in within NOAA, to incorporate social science research into some of the National Weather Service products. How is the research being transitioned into operations, and how should advancements be verified? And specifically, I was at the Quad Cities National Weather Service office just this past week. As we look at the probability of major flood on the Mississippi River, how can we get people to react to the forecasts as we see them?
Thank you again for the question. The National Weather Service it's a physical science agency, but it really has a behavioral mission. And it's a social science challenge. I think that a lot of it's been in the research and development in OAR, and it needs to be shifted into the operations at the National Weather Service. But the real problem there is verification. There's no verification data. What's needed are routine data collections of how the public received and understood and reacted to the warning information. That information doesn't exist right now, and particularly and unfortunately with the circumstances of fatalities. The National Weather Service needs to know, how did these fatalities occur? What were the circumstances? Was the person trying to evacuate? Did they understand the warning and act accordingly and it was just bad luck? Or did they not understand the warning, or did they not have the means to evacuate? We're not able to differentiate those metrics. And without that type of verification, the social scientists are going to have a really hard time deciding whether or not what they're implementing is effective.
Finally, do you all, and I'll pose this to all of you, do you believe that we are investing enough in our weather modeling so that we can best serve the people and keep them safe?
No, it needs a lot more.
And to the rest of you too.
I concur. NOAA could use more funding and for its program, like I mentioned, the Earth Prediction Innovation Center and the Unified Forecast System.
I agree completely.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate that, and I yield back.